Hopefully I will be able to get through them all today. If not, I might have to do a part 2. Anyway, let's get into it. The first question is, what got me into making ASMR videos? So I actually have just passed my 2-year anniversary of creating ASMR videos, which is wild. That has gone so fast, and it's also wild looking back at my earlier content and seeing how far that I've come, but also how much my style hasn't changed in a lot of ways. So 2 years ago, I was taking a 6-week break from work. I often take time off around August because my birthday is in August. And basically, long story short, is a few years ago I used to do an Instagram with my best friend and create content on that. And I did love having that as a creative outlet. But it also burned me out a little bit because I shared a lot of myself on there because it wasn't ASMR. It was more of myself and I guess fashion and just cool things that we liked. So I ended up stopped doing that. I think we did it for maybe 3 or 4 years, which was amazing. I had so much fun. But then I took, I want to say, a year break from creating any content, and I was getting that itch to start creating again. And I landed on ASMR because I'd been watching ASMR for years. I love ASMR. And I'd also been getting really into makeup that past year and experimenting with makeup and discovering what I like. So I felt I kind of already had all the tools that I needed to create ASMR. I just needed a microphone. And yeah, I started creating ASMR. The next question is, what do I do outside of making ASMR content? Well, if you've been following me for a little bit and seen any of my recent Get Ready With Me chatty videos, you'll know that I'm currently unemployed. So I'm unemployed. I'm taking a break from working full-time as I got made redundant at my last job, which was actually very much a blessing. I was very burnt out, and getting made redundant means I could get an exit package, so I'm currently taking a break from work, and my main priority is healing. I am trying to fix my insomnia and get on top of my mental and physical health and well-being. And there's lots of stuff that I'm doing within that. I'm happy to do another video and talk about the things that I think are really helping improve my mental health and well-being. But outside of ASMR, that is very much my priority at the moment. So yeah, doing things like yoga, meditating, taking my dog for walks in the sunshine and things like that. And of course, seeing friends, hanging out with family and my partner to party. But I love to go see movies, and reading fanfic is one of my favorite things. And just reading in general. I've also been watching lots of really great TV shows recently. I binge watched all of Interview with the Vampire, the series, which was amazing. And also Yellow Jackets, which was pretty dark, but loved it. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing at the moment outside of ASMR. The following question is, what's your daily routine? And I might actually create a separate video on this and take you through a day in my life. I haven't had much of a routine these past few weeks because I've been trying to just listen to my body and take breaks when I need and rest and take it easy, or go out when I feel like that's what I need to do. But I am trying to build more of a routine now, so so it's a good time for me to do this video with all of you. There's a question about how me and my partner met. So my partner, you might have seen him in some of my videos, is Tabani, who is the most beautiful human in the entire world. I'm not even kidding. He is my best friend as well as my partner, and he is also so supportive of all of my ASMR content creation and just generally everything I do. He's the best. We actually met on Hinge, which is our dating app. I'm very superstitious about the number 8 and it being a lucky number for me. And I was 28 when I met Tabani. I just felt like that was the year that I was going to meet someone really special. And he was also 28 as well when we met. And yeah, within 4 weeks of meeting him, I just knew he was it for me. The funny thing is, Tabani swears that he saw me before we met on Hinge, but he can't for the life of him figure out where he knows me from. But he just says that I've got a really familiar face, and there was one picture in particular in my Hinge profile where he was like, I swear I've seen this person before. So this might be a mystery that will never be solved. Or it might be, is it the invisible string theory? I can't remember what it is, but when you've kind of been orbiting each other, but you haven't actually met, and then you meet and it's kind of fated. Maybe that's what me and Tabani are. The next question is, what inspired me to get tattoos? So I actually have a lot of tattoos, if you didn't know. You can see some on my wrists here, but yeah, I've been getting tattoos since literally the day of my 18th birthday. I always loved tattoos. When I was a kid, I just thought they were the coolest things ever. I love that people could get art on their bodies and I guess like personalize them, made them more their own, you know. But yeah, I just remember always loving tattoos. I just thought that they were amazing. I think I'm getting to the point where I've run out a bit of ideas of like specific things that I want. So what really inspires me now is actually specific tattoo artists whose art I really love and whose creativity I just think is amazing. So I've been getting, at the moment, most of my tattoos done by 2 tattoo artists that I keep bouncing between. And it's funny because they're actually good friends. But I think my inspiration behind my tattoos has really changed over the years. From maybe having very specific ideas to just having spaces I want to fill and specific people I want to get tattooed by. I like that my tattoos kind of track where I was at different points in my life. And a big part of it has been, how do I describe this? A big part of my inspiration is learning to love my body more. I've always had issues with my body and the way that I look, which I'm not really going to get into now, but getting tattoos is a big part of reclaiming my body and learning to love it. Because when I look in the mirror, I just see all the beautiful art that I've gotten over the years, and it's just a really empowering experience for me, getting tattooed. So I think that's a big part of the inspiration, or has grown to be a big part of the inspiration. This is a good segue into the next question. Where do you find your confidence? Is it something you feel insecure sense of self. And I think in a lot of ways I lack a lot of confidence. I have been thinking about doing a separate video talking more specifically about my mental health, in case it resonates with anyone and it helps any of you out there. But yeah, just know that I think the way that I portray myself in my content doesn't reflect how I necessarily feel day to day. I think a lot of the time I feel not confident at all and second guessing myself a lot. Second guessing whether my content is good, whether I'm good. I don't want to get too deep, but so I guess it is something I'm still working on. But I'm working on it in the sense that I'm trying to care less about what other people think, or care less about worrying about what other people think, because I think a lot of the time people don't actually think about me as much as I worry they think about me. I think some of this is coming with getting older, where you just care about these things less, and you just grow more comfortable and confident in what makes you happy, and being shamelessly who you are as a person. But it's definitely something I'm still working hard on and getting better at. Okay, where is somewhere I would love to travel to? I would love to travel, I think, around Australia. This is such a beautiful country, and I really would love to explore it a little bit more, particularly far north Queensland and some of the rainforests, and over on the western coast as well. It's my dream to do a trip around Australia with Tabani and Finn, and also create content, ASMR around Australia. I think that would be amazing to take a year off and just do that. I also really want to go back to Italy. I was there years ago and did a road trip with my family around there, and it was so beautiful, but I would really love to spend more time in Italy. Of course, with Tabani. I would love to get eloped with Tabani in Italy. So we'll do that at some point in our lives. My favorite movie has not changed in years, and hasn't actually changed since I last answered this in my last Q&A video that was a year ago. My favorite movie is an old black and white Audrey Hepburn movie called Sabrina. It feels like old Disney movies to me. It's very comforting and nostalgic, and it's just my happy place to go to. I love it so, and I haven't actually watched it for a while, so I should give that a watch. I'm not sure if Tabani's ever seen it, so maybe I'll make him watch it with me. My all-time favorite band / musician, I think, is also the same as last time I answered this. It is Labyrinth, who did the soundtrack and a bunch of songs for Euphoria. I just am obsessed with his music. I love it so much. And I also love Hans Zimmer, who is a genius, an absolute genius composer, and has done a bunch of different incredible soundtracks to movies, including Lion King and Interstellar, Inception, the Dark Knight trilogy, and the Dune movies. I love listening to Hans Zimmer music, particularly when I'm feeling really stressed. Something about listening to just instrumental music. But yeah, he's definitely my other favorite. I'm not even sure I would call him a musician, but composer, musical artist, musical genius. But yeah, ASMR and Labyrinth are my two favorites. I love this next question. If I could be a mythical creature, what would I be? Where would you like to live? And how would you like to spend your days? I would obviously be a fairy. I'm not sure if that counts as a mythical creature, but I'd say so. But I would be a fairy that lives in a rainforest and has a bunch of creatures, woodland creatures, like little rabbits and deers as friends. And ideally I would have a few other fairy friends with me. But that is 100% what I would want to be and where I would want to spend my time. And I would just like to spend my days foraging in the woods, spending time with my animal friends, listening to music, gardening, spending time in the sunshine, and listening to the sounds, listening to the sounds of the forest. What is the hardest part about being a content creator? Is it the busy schedule, or the editing, or coming up with new content ideas? So I imagine this might be different for everyone, but I think the most challenging thing for me is my own perfectionism. I know that term is often used as a positive, but for me it is not a positive thing. It is a massive source of my anxiety that I set these arbitrary or unrealistic standards of what I want aspects of my life to look like, or what I want my content to look like, that don't really matter. So I get really caught up on editing sometimes, trying to get the white balance right, or the lighting perfect, or the audio perfect, and it can really get in the way of me creating content and enjoying creating content. So it's something I've been learning to grapple with, because a lot of the things that I get caught up on, I don't think any of you would even notice. But yeah, it's been driving me bonkers. I don't really have an issue of thinking of new content when I'm well rested and feel like my best self. I do when I'm burnt out. I was really struggling to think and get motivated to create content. But now that I have taken a break from work and I'm feeling so much more well rested, I feel my creativity coming back, and that is so exciting. So I'm actually chock full of ideas, and I just don't have enough time in the day to do them all. The schedule isn't that busy for me at the moment because I'm not working and I'm only doing this. So it's actually very flexible. I very much work on my own schedule. But the downside to that is obviously I need to set my own boundaries to creating content and making sure that I take time off. Because there's no limits, like I could be doing it every day. But even doing things like I don't like to edit at night, or I only film during the day at the moment, because that's best for my mental health and well-being. Little things like that I need to set in place. The other thing that I think is really challenging is this sense of competition that you can feel with other creators, and this sense of urgency that you have to get like all your good ideas out, so you have ownership over them. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think the ASMR community is actually really supportive and really lovely to create in, because you see so many people taking it doesn't help that you feel this sense of urgency, and that also means it feels like you can't really take a break from creating. I've always really struggled to feel like I could take a break, because it feels like the algorithm or like people are just gonna forget about you and like you won't be relevant anymore, or I guess someone's gonna come and take your place. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't think this is valid. Like, I've seen many creators take really long breaks and be absolutely welcomed back, but the mentality of that feeling of competition and like you can't take a break and burning out from creating, I feel like I've heard other creators talk about as well. So you very much need to learn how to set your own boundaries and get out of this mentality that you're competing with other people. I have a question from Shine ASMR. Hi Shine. What is my favorite childhood memory? I think I just have lots of really fond memories with my younger brother and us getting up to lots of mischief. Whether that's all the Xbox games that we used to play, or jumping on the trampoline, or Nintendo 64. But yeah, pretty much any memory or time spent with my brother when we were kids is definitely a favorite. And what my favorite adolescence one is, I don't actually know, that's a really hard one. I feel like I know I have happy memories of my adolescence, but being a teenager is hard. I think probably I used to live in the UK, and when I moved back when I was 19, my best friend at the time created this really lovely book with lots of photos and memories in it. It was just a really special thing to receive, and yeah, I think that's a really positive memory. What is my dream job and what's my current job? So, I don't have a current job, but the last one I had was in people and culture or human resources. So, managing things like recruitment, training, and payroll, and lots of people policies. It was a big area of work, but I don't think I want to stay in that area of work. I think my dream job is to be able to do this part-time and create ASMR content. Maybe work a day a week in retail and just take part in really cool projects, like community projects, art projects with really cool people. I think I've really stepped away from the idea of having one 9-to-5 job 5 days a week. And my dream is actually to piece together a bunch of different things that kind of hit different needs of what I'm looking for. Because I don't entirely believe that for me and probably anyone, there is that one job that's perfect for you. So my dream is to have a bunch of different jobs and areas of work, and they just hit different needs. But overall, that I'm able to be and feel really balanced in my life and all my needs are met. In terms of what I studied, it's actually completely unrelated to what I did for work. I'm a massive, massive science nerd. So I have done an undergrad in medical science and a master's in science, specializing in epidemiology. I've always been really fascinated in learning about how things work, particularly the human body. I think that's where my love of science really came from. But as much as I love learning about it, I don't think I would enjoy the day-to-day of working in the science field, so I have no desire to pursue that path, but that's what I studied. What are my favorite nail polish nail care items. I really love the Loccitane, I think that's how you say it, Loccitane, hand cream. I've recently just gone back to that one and it is elite. I also use this cuticle oil, which I think has really strengthened my nails. And then just the classics, nail file, buffer, cuticle trimmer. And I think a good base coat and top coat for your nail polish is key as well. But yeah, I'll create a whole separate video on this and show you what my favourite nail polishes are and the favourite shades, because people are always asking me in the comments, which is fair. I would be doing the same if I saw some nail polish that I liked. What are my favourite books and series to read? So, my answer hasn't changed since my last Q&A, but I'm still pretty much exclusively reading Harry Potter fanfiction. I can't imagine getting sick of it anytime soon. There are just so many incredible fanfictions to read. When I'm not reading that, I love reading fantasy books and young adult fantasy. But I can't read non-fiction. I've tried, but it's just not for me. So it has to be fiction. And most of the time, and by most of the time, I mean pretty much 100% of the time, it needs to have romance. I've got to have romance in it. I'm a sucker for a good love story. Give me all the enemies to lovers and angst with a happy ending. I'm not emotionally stable enough for unhappy endings. I've done a video with some of my favorite books, so go check that out if you wanted to see what some of my favorite books are. What motivated me to do ASMR? I feel like I've already answered that one, but the next part, and if not ASMR, what content creation would you be doing? I think it might still be makeup videos and craft videos. I can't imagine doing vlogs. As much as I would love to, I really need that separation between my life and content, and vlogs are like the opposite of that. So yeah, I think it would be makeup, maybe fashion, like my outfits of the day, or judging catwalks, new seasonal trends, things like that. And yeah, I do love the craft, so maybe some of that, but whatever it is, definitely chilled content. Do I believe in manifestation? I think yes, in the sense, I think what you focus on can be what you get. It's like riding a bicycle, and where you look is where you'll ride to, so don't look at the tree. I wish I could practice this myself a little bit easier. It is a challenge for me and my mental health not to focus on everything bad that could happen, but I'm really trying to be more deliberate about envisioning, how do you say it, and imagining that the best could happen, and being a little bit delulu, and just imagining everything is going to work out perfectly. I don't really believe in like manifesting a lottery win or something like that. I mean, not impossible, but I definitely believe in it in the sense that if you have a strong vision of what you want your life to look like, I think that goes a really, really long way in helping you most wonderful and glittery makeup brand. If not them, maybe About Face. I haven't actually tried their foundations, but they do have olive tones, which is promising. Or maybe I would go Pat McGrath, as they seem to do really good across quite a few products, and quite a few of their products are my favorites, and they also do amazing glitters. Do I have any travel spot recommendations? The first one that came to mind is Scotland. My family and I, one Easter, once did our road trip traveling around Scotland, and it was honestly one of my favorite holidays. Scotland is so beautiful. I love Edinburgh, and there was just so many beautiful places we stayed in. So, yeah, Scotland is up there. I like this next question. What's my earliest memory of ASMR sensation that I remember? I want to say that I was 14 and one of my friends really, really gently touched my ear and my earring, and I just remember that wonderful, wonderful ASMR sensation and thinking to myself, please don't stop. I think that's the first memory I have of it. What's something my subscribers don't know about me yet? Probably my full name and birth date. For privacy reasons, I haven't said either of those. I'm trying to think what else. I think there's probably lots you don't know about me, but they are the first things that come to mind. How would your perfect day go / be like? I almost want to do a whole separate video on this. I feel like ASMR Flo once did a beautiful video talking about all of her subscribers' favorite days or perfect days, and I would love to do something like that. But it would definitely involve a very chill day with Finn, my dog, and Tapani, my partner, and delicious food. Sunshine. We'd probably go somewhere, but it'd all be very chill and beautiful. Like, we're not rushing to do anything. That kind of vibe. What is / are your comfort movies? So I already mentioned one, and that is Sabrina. The other one that comes to mind is the movie Return to Me, which is a beautiful romance movie that just warms your heart. I will never get sick of that movie. Highly, highly recommend. But yeah, I feel like hopefully fall asleep easier. I also have a separate gratitude journal where I'm writing down everything that I'm grateful for or was grateful for that day, and a separate worry journal where for a designated period of time each day I write down everything that I'm worried about. This worry journal is part of this course I'm doing to help me sleep better, and is about helping condition my mind to stop worrying in bed and instead only worry at the designated time each day when I have my worry journal. What do I see in a person? E.g. clothing, style, body model item they bought or have that you perceive as cool/interesting. I think all of the above. I'm always very interested by people's tattoos. Of course, people's outfits, if they're wearing something a little bit different. And their jewelry as well. I think there's always a lot of stories behind people's jewelry, since a lot of it is given as gifts from loved ones. What is my favorite thing to do in Australia? I think that is wholly dependent on where you are, as it's a very big country, and the different cities have very different vibes. I think generally Australia has some of the most beautiful beaches and most beautiful country and wildlife. You can hear all the birds. So I would definitely encourage you to get out of the cities and try and see some of it. If you are in Melbourne, which is where I live, then I think vintage shopping is high up there. And I love all the cafes we have here and restaurants, particularly the more hidden ones down random alleyways, and the rooftop bars that are in really random spots. So they are some of my favorite things to do in Melbourne. The next question is, who are my ASMR inspirations? I think I've been really inspired by softly sweet ASMR. I'm trying to be more delicate and soft with my ASMR because that's what I really love watching, and that's what really sends me to sleep. So I'm very inspired by her, and I also really love Lynn Cinnamon ASMR. She does some of my definitely my favorite unboxing and swatching videos. It's her that I listen to most nights to fall asleep because I find her ASMR and her whispers just so relaxing. So I think they are two of my big inspos at the moment. I also really love Livy ASMR. She does some of the most amazing random trigger videos and layered sounds I have ever heard. And I love Tasha ASMR's makeup videos. I love all of her videos actually, but I really love how her personality shines through in her videos. And I'm definitely trying to do that more myself. I'm also really inspired by a lot of smaller creators, as I truly think they have some of the best ideas and most unique ASMR. And I feel like when you're a smaller creator, you're often just creating for the love of it, and that really comes through in the content. Okay, my friends, I think that's probably a great place to end this video. And we're something else and answer the rest of your questions, let me know. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for 200,000 subscribers.